In only its second year, Africa Fashion Week in New York City has already become a huge event. In the next half hour, we'll go behind the scenes, introducing you to the models, the designers, and the visionary behind the show. This is a special edition of Inside Africa, an all-access pass to Africa Fashion Week. Hello and welcome to Inside Africa. I'm Isha Sesay. Designers and models have come from across Africa and around the world to showcase the best of what the continent has to offer. This show is a dream realized for director Adiat Disu, who left Nigeria when she was just 15 years old. Now she's a young entrepreneur in the Big Apple with an inspiring story. I sat down with Adiat as she made the final preparations for tonight's show.
I remember just sitting down at Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. Was the first year that Arise came, and I was so proud.
And explain what Arise is for those who don't know.
Arise magazine actually gathers. Arise has a collection, a collective, and they pick certain designers to come and showcase during Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. So I remember just being in the audience, watching them, and being filled with so much pride and realizing, wow, we are so beautiful, we are so big. But then I thought, we're too beautiful and too big to just be limited to that one showcase. So I said, why don't we have a week where we are able to see African fashion designers? And that's when I thought of Africa Fashion Week in New York.
So it's one thing to have an idea, to be sitting in a show and thinking, oh, you know, this could be bigger, this could be more prominent. And the idea is one thing, the execution is a completely different thing. So tell me, first of all, were you working in fashion?
I decided to start my own business, which is something I've always had interest in because I went to Bentley University. And then just, of course, fashion, I had a love for it, the creativity, the people that you meet. But I wanted there to be a merger, a marriage between the business acumen as well as the creativity. And so I thought of, you know, my company, Adiat, just being a boutique company that really helps push forward the creatives. And when you're a brand new company, you know, who is Adiat and what makes Adiat think that they can produce, you know, Africa Fashion Week?
Well, what did make you think you could do it?
Well, I'm an African woman, okay? And for me, that alone said, I can do this because I am supporting my people. I can be that person that pushes them because I feel that association. And I think that gives you the credibility. You have to have confidence in your own culture and embrace it and say, this is mine.
I'm joined now backstage by Senegalese fashion designer Adama Paris. Adama, it's great to catch you before you show tonight. Tell me about your designs, your sense of style.
Okay, this is for Africa Fashion Week. I'm showing bathing suit line called Afro Bikini.
So tell me a little bit about your story, how long you've been designing.
I've been designing now, it's been like 11 years. I used to live in France. I went back to Dakar, Senegal, where I'm from, and I started at Dakar Fashion Week with other designers from Senegal and Africa.
And tell me where your inspiration comes from.
Africa, of course, Africa, and water. And I surf. I love surfing, and I wanted to show something African, you know, like, you know, the whole thing. And they were only bathing suit from European fabric and stuff. So I wanted to do something remind me Africa.
There's stories behind every garment. I mean, these designers are coming from, you know, just amazing backgrounds, you know, helping and supporting different causes. You know, some are coming just from barely having the resources to do things, but being able to deliver. And that, in essence, it's much more meaningful than just purchasing any garment. It's purchasing a garment with a story.
So backstage, we found a designer. We found some of her models that she puts the finishing touches on them. How are you feeling now that you've seen them all dressed up?
I mean, this is Africa. I'm very happy to be part of the Africa Fashion Week because I have the chance to bring to US what we really live. I mean, and this is the result of my 20 years of flying around Africa and in Europe.
People are wondering, what is Africa Fashion Week in New York? I mean, is it in Africa? Is it in New York? Well, I tell them, you know, Africa isn't restricted in its continental boundaries. Africa is everywhere. So at the end of the day, people need to hear and see what is going on in Africa without necessarily having to travel to Africa, because we understand that, you know, not everyone can go to Africa. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with bringing Africa to them, to their backyard.
What's your sense about the standard of fashion coming out of Africa right now, the different designers and what you're seeing? What's your sense of it? Are you excited by it? Are there lots of great things coming out?
This millennium is all about African and beautiful African women and fashion. And I think that we're really stepping up our game, and yeah, and I love it as a designer and also as a shopper. And yeah, I saw other designer. Everything is so colorful and so joyful, and that's represent Africa, and that's how I want us to be seen.
The moment you think you've defined what Africa fashion is, expect for it to be redefined each time a designer comes out. Our culture, we infuse it any way that we can, and there's so much depth to our story, to our background. Every country in Africa has a story, has something going on, and essentially a lot of these designers weave that into their designs, and that is in essence what you're getting.
The point with all these designers is my view of the Black African woman. For the future. I mean, what I expect to see in the future, and the recognition that the African Black people need to have around the world, because of all this history, we need to show up in a different way. So this is why this is my team. I mean, from all the countries I've passed, if you see, all the materials are from different countries. So, and this is my idea, just to bring, I mean, it doesn't have to be Angolan or from Ghana or from Guinea-Bissau or from Saint Tome. It's the beauty of the African woman.
Even if we're not able to directly impact some of the things that are happening in Africa, I know that a lot of these designers, when they come here, they're so inspired to also do their own thing and to constantly move forward, because they know that we're pushing for them here. You know, so I think that's what inspires me, just knowing the stories, knowing the backgrounds of each of the designers, and just wanting to push for them, wanting their success, because in turn their success is our success.